All right, welcome to the Fantasy Football MBA that stands for matchups, breakdowns, and analysis. We are helping you graduate fantasy football champion. We are in week 10. This is our part two of week 10, so make sure to check out part one. It's your boy Steve here, and I am joined by
T. Campbell online.
Eric J in the house.
All right, so we're gonna get started with part two of our week 10 starts and sits. So let's get into the Denver Broncos against the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah. So this
You know it.
Hey.
is Oakland for life, I guess, for you, man.
Exactly.
They'll always be the Oakland Raiders, right? Yeah. So going into this game here for the Denver side, things have gotten a little interesting in Denver. It's like they found an offense all of a sudden. Drew Lock, is he becoming the guy that they possibly hoped him to be? I don't know. Maybe they just played against the Falcons last week. How about that?
Yeah, the national commentators in the game were really bestowing a lot of love on, like, he has all the tangibles.
Yeah,
and
I'm still.
like,
Yeah, I'm still not feeling it.
he's a quarterback of the future.
He might do okay. I wouldn't start him, but I feel a little more encouraged to start the receiving options. Noah Fant, you always got to start him. Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick, I would start those guys. You know, the Raiders are definitely vulnerable in the pass defense, and I expect this game to, I expect both teams to put a decent amount of points on the board here, and I could definitely see a scenario where at least one of those guys has a good game. If you ask me, I would say Tim Patrick.
So I'm going.
And I'd say Jerry Jeudy. So even though Jerry Jeudy is, the better talent, but you know how that goes sometimes.
Right.
As far as our running back, man, maybe you guys can help me out on this one because I don't want to start either one of them guys, man. Like they're cutting into each other. You know me, I never liked Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon is a guy who needs to get a lot of volume. And with Philip Lindsay hanging around there, that kind of messes things up for him. On the other side, with the Raiders, I don't know if anybody is with me on this one, but people have been sleeping on Nelson Aguilar. I guess because he is Nelson Aguilar. So nobody wants to believe it. He is still very much out there, folks. And he's getting the ball. He's the number one guy, whether you want to admit it or not. We all wanted to be Henry Ruggs. It's Nelson Aguilar. He's like a mini Will Fuller. He's a very poor man.
Yeah. Very,
very poor. Very poor.
No
Very poor man's Will Fuller, man. But he's getting the touchdowns. So I gotta keep rolling with him. So Josh Jacobs, you know how I feel about him. He's not going to get 100 yards, but he'll get a touchdown or two in this game. So yeah, what you guys got on this?
Yeah, I can't see you on that Aguilar, man. I'm just looking at his stats. 2 catches in the last 2 games.
You said what?
2 catches in the last 2 games.
One of those was for a long touchdown.
Yeah, one of them because
That's all it takes, man. That's all you need, man.
I mean, I guess I guess that's the Will Fuller,
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly, and
the Will Fuller of old.
Fuller. Exactly, yeah. And the other thing I want to note is that the one bad game he's had in about the last 5 games was against the Bills. It was terrible weather conditions. Everybody had a bad game that week, so I'm not even going to mark that against them.
Yeah.
And I just, for this game, I want to maybe use Philip Lindsay, but like you said, I'm on the same page with you. Just I don't know, the running backs are cutting into each other. But one thing I will say, as a Raider fan, we've been giving up a lot of rushing touchdowns this year. I think the fourth most in the league. So one of them is going to score. I know it's going to happen.
I don't know which one, but one of them will score.
I just don't know who. So I'm staying away from both of them. Even though I really want to give Philip Lindsay another shot. He's been averaging almost 5 yards a carry.
He's good.
Until he always has like some lingering injury. So like until he can shake that, I don't know if I can fully trust him all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. Next game we got Miami and we got the LA Chargers. Now this is some good stuff, folks. We got two hotshot rookie quarterbacks. I'm excited. I hope this game is on television because I would love to see this game. We got Tua, who a lot of people, I feel like I tried to tell folks last week. I said, look, don't drop him yet. People just dropping him after 1 week. And it's like, hey, man, they didn't necessarily need him. He was up against Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and company. And he showed what I think will be a more accurate representation of him last week. So if he's out there, I would recommend picking him up. The Chargers, I mean, their defense is just not as good as we expected it to be, especially in the second half of games. And we've seen what Tua's got, and I think that this is going to be I think it's going to be exactly what we've seen from both teams this whole year. I can see the Chargers coming out to an early lead here. Herbert's definitely going to have a good game. And then I could see some folks that have Miami players being a little frustrated in the first half. And then in the second half, things start to open up for them. I got to roll with Devontae Parker. Preston Williams, he's out. Hopefully that will mean more targets. Devontae Parker hasn't been exactly what we thought he would be this year, but hopefully things will look up for him. On the LA side, I like your usual suspects. I'm not trusting. The jury is still out on who the running back is going to be in this game. I'm not going to go with Kalen Ballage at this moment. That is subject to change. If that changes, we'll update you on Twitter or Instagram. He was on the practice squad and he was kind of flexed at the last minute when Justin Jackson got hurt. So I could see maybe Tremaine Pope again kind of coming back into that role. I still don't trust Joshua Kelly, and I don't think the Chargers trust him.
It doesn't seem like they do either.
Yeah, so I'm not rolling there. So that's pretty much what I got for this game here.
Yeah, man, you touched on it. And I was one. I had Tua. I didn't play him that first week. But after, that poor start, I dropped him. But then Ben Roethlisberger looked to be injured and then is on the COVID list. So I had to pick him back up. I'm actually starting Tua this week. So I'm hoping for the best because, the thing is that the Chargers have given up 8 touchdowns through the air in the last 4 games. So, the opportunity could open up. Like you said, Parker get more looks because of Preston Williams being out. I think that may benefit, Tua.
Definitely.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you got anything?
I agree with everything both of you guys said. I won in spite of Joshua Kelly last week. I think those 5 passes he caught were a complete fluke. I mean, they were just desperate. They had to throw the ball out somewhere. When Keenan Allen is not open, I've lost complete faith in their running backs until Austin Eckler comes back. I'll be saying my prayers that he comes back because I got him on injured reserve in both.
I know. I've been watching. Man, this guy, he's just waiting. So, but I hope he doesn't come back because I don't have him on anything. I hate to say that. That sounds terrible, but I meant it. But Well, next we have the Bills and the Arizona Cardinals. So I really like Buffalo Bills here. Arizona, fourth most generous team in the passing game when it comes to giving up fantasy points to the wide receivers. So not only am I starting Diggs, which is obvious, I am going to start John Brown. John Brown, he looks to be back. Looks to
Mhm.
be back for real. This is a great opportunity for more fantasy goodness for him. If you're desperate at flex, you can also play. Damn, what's his name? I forgot his name. You know, the other dude.
Yeah,
Beasley.
yeah, yeah.
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you could play him as well. Running back situation. Don't you have Devin Singletary? EJ.
I
Go ahead.
Man, let me tell you about Devin Singletary. I want to bench him so bad, but in the league I have him. I have Antonio Gibson, who's banged up this week, Philip Lindsay, who I can't really trust. Um, I really want to start Wayne Gallman over him, but I might have to play him because I might have to play Gallman, for Antonio Gibson. So I'm only playing him because I have to. If I could, I would bench him. I think Zach Moss is going to end up being a better player.
Yeah.
Singletary, he's my new Christian Kirk. He's
Yeah.
the, Christian Kirk has regained my trust, but now Devin Singletary, he's in my doghouse
Yeah,
officially.
for sure. Zach
For
Moss is
me,
definitely the guy.
one of the biggest disappointments of this year. I have nothing further to comment on.
No more questions. No more questions.
I also want to know on the Arizona side, still got to roll with Christian Kirk, man. You got to play the hits, man. And right now he's on fire.
He's a monster.
And last week he was getting the targets too. Like a couple of weeks prior, you were still wondering. You're like, man, he got this long touchdown, but he didn't get a lot of targets. Last week he got the targets, he got the receptions. It looks like they really got something going on there with Kirk, and
Mhm.
you know, uh, it's weird. We thought Chase Edmonds was really going to cash in with Kenyon Drake out, but it didn't really work out that way, man. So that was a little disappointing. So now I've got questions,
Yeah.
as far as the Arizona running back situation goes. And
Mhm.
right now, I would prefer not to start any of those guys. So, but we'll see. What do you guys think?
Yeah, me neither.
He's like, yeah, me neither. That's
Me
it.
neither.
That's my
I
analysis. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on.
All right. So next up, we got the Seahawks against the Rams. All right. Now, Seattle's defense has been porous, to say the least. They're ranked 30th in the league. So in this game, look for Jared Goff to have a better game. Um, and not only a better game, I think he may have his best game of the year this week. I don't think Seattle's offense also will look the way it has at certain points this year against the Rams defense, which is second in the league. Teams are only averaging 19 points a game. They've only given up 4 touchdowns the entire year to the wide receiver position. They played against Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Deshaun Jackson, Allen Robinson, Devontae Parker, to name a few. Um,
You say Deshaun Jackson?
yeah, because remember at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson in his first starts of the year, he always is
Right.
lights out. But he was lights out. Nobody was home this year. But at any rate, he was at the time that they played him, he should have been better. But at any rate, I named all those good wide receivers to say this. I'm still not fading DK Metcalf in
Oh
this.
no.
Absolutely not on your life. But I am fading Tyler Lockett in this game, who has less than 45 yards and 0 touchdowns in the past 4 games. Darrell Henderson Jr. on the other side of the ball has 1 touchdown in the last 5 games, so he's kind of fallen off. He's even possibly questionable this week, even against a 12th against the run. Seattle is. I'm fading him as well. So again, in this game, I'm looking for Jared Goff. I'm also looking for Josh Reynolds in this game. He
Yes.
could be a sneaky flex and has 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games for the Rams.
Preach.
Cooper Kupp, he's nursing a wrist injury, so he may or may not be a full go even if he plays. Again, Darrell Henderson caught a thigh, so if he can't go, I'll Malcolm Brown in this game, I think. It just depends because Cam just hadn't shown. I don't think they trust Cam. So if Henderson does not go, I think Brown would be a safe flex in this game. What do you guys think?
No, I agree with you pretty much with everything you said. I just want to also add that if you are playing DFS, you got to go with Robert Woods, man, because I think he'll have a pretty nice game here. So, but there's nothing really I could add to what you said there.
Yeah, no, I got to echo your point about Reynolds. I'm playing him this week as a flex. Just my flex options in the league where I have him are ugly right now. So I got to go with him. And I got to hope that, he continues. And I think he is going to score again this week. I like the fact, I think the last game he played, he had like 9 targets. So he's trending in the right direction.
He's the new sneaky Seth Rogers.
I was about to
Get out of it.
Shout out there.
Yeah. All right, so we got the Niners against the Saints. Now for San Francisco, man, this might get out of hand early, real quick. Mike Tyson of the 80s, real quick. 30 seconds in, they might be on the scoreboard. San Francisco has allowed nearly 23 fantasy football points a game to wide receivers and have bled 8 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks to good quarterbacks. Right. I'm fading all the running backs in Santa Clara. I don't want none of them. Tevin Coleman may play. He may not. Don't know. He's in and out of practice this week, possibly. The New Orleans team they're playing inspired football. This past week, was a game for the ages for them against Tampa. I think they're going to carry that momentum into this week, saying to themselves, like, look, we're in first place in NFC South. Let's get some more ground in NFC by beating up on a San Francisco team that's just been, decimated with injuries. The defense is ranked 14th overall, 4th in scoring. The Saints are. They played out of their minds against the Bucs last week. San Francisco just doesn't. They don't have a quarterback that can press New Orleans defense, nor do they have any running backs to keep them honest. So I don't see any slowing down of New Orleans in this game. I actually like Latavius Murray, Taysom Hill, who is the new Swiss Army knife of, I don't know what he is. He's listed as a tight end sometimes.
Yeah.
He just gets the ball. He's like slash,
Yeah.
Also give me Emmanuel Sanders in this game as well.
Oh, okay.
He's back in my good graces.
Revenge game.
Right. Like, you was good on me? All right, cool.
Yeah.
What y'all think?
Yeah, man. I'm with you on this one too, man. I don't like anybody in San Francisco for this game.
No Richie James? Maybe
Richie James. Maybe. But
we're gonna throw it. Nah.
No. All right, but yeah, man, I don't like anybody for San Fran in this game, and the Saints, man, I'm with you. I like just about everybody for this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Emmanuel Sanders got in a touchdown in there. So
yet again, I hate to, as a Falcons fan, man. It's like, man, why can't we just have nice things, man?
Right.
Like, you just got a plethora of weapons to go to, and well, anyway.
By the way, I would start Saints defense too.
Yeah, Saints defense for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Bengals against the Steelers. Now, this is going to be interesting because Ben Roethlisberger is on the COVID reserve list because he was around somebody that was around somebody that was around somebody. So there's an outside chance that he may still play. So if you're a Roethlisberger owner, definitely want to make sure you're keeping up with his test results. If he tests negative for the next 5 days, he'll be able to play. Not sure if that's going to happen, but if not, then this is definitely a Mason Rudolph pickup game. If you're looking to pick up a quarterback, he played decent against in his opportunity last year, filling in for Big Ben. For Cincinnati, they're kind of like blah. They're 20th in defense, 20th in offense, just lower middle of the road across the board. Their defense has allowed 12 touchdowns in the last 4 games through the air. Their leading defensive player only had 3.5 sacks, so they're not going to get pressure on the whoever is throwing the ball for the Steelers. On the other side of the ball, the Steelers have the 4th-ranked defense, 5th-ranked offense. Obviously, the offense is going to be different if Ben Roethlisberger is not playing. But from a defensive standpoint, the Steelers have only allowed 2 100 games this season, 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 games. That's going to be pretty tough for a Cincinnati offense that isn't existent, really. It's just like, okay, who's gonna best that effort? All right. Steelers are all about making teams one-dimensional. They're going to do the same thing against Cincinnati. They're going to stop the run, force them to go through the air, and that's when the Steelers are at their best. The Steelers have 3 players with 5 or more sacks and a team total of 32 sacks on the year. I think you heard me a moment ago. The Bengals have their best player has 3.5 sacks. He's the leader. And it's 3 players on the Steelers with 5 or more and 32. So it's a big difference in the two teams there. Again, Big Ben's on the COVID-19 list. Mason Rudolph still should be fine against this non-pressure defense that the Bengals are going to roll out in this game. Looking for the Steelers wide receiver leader, Chase Claypool. You heard that right. He's leading wide receiver in touchdown and yardage for the Steelers out of nowhere. Looking for him in this game. I like Eric Ebron in this game. On the Bengals side, I can go for a little T. Higgins, who has about 82.5 yards a game over the last 5 contests, and that's been against some decent defenses. So they're going to have to throw the ball potentially, even in junk time. So that's the only player I'm looking for on the Bengals side.
No Tyler Boyd love, man.
Nah, man. Nope.
Nah, well, I got
because they're going to put the best corner on him.
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care. I still got to roll with Tyler Boyd, and I still have to roll with T. Higgins, like you said.
Yeah.
So I do think that the Steelers' defense is going to try to prove a point this week after the almost upset last week against the Dallas Cowboys.
That's right.
They're still a little embarrassed, even though they won. They had to come back and win their game. So I think they'll definitely try to prove a point. It's going to be tough game for Joe Mixon, but you most likely drafted him as your starting running back, your number 1 running back, so you got to play him. On the Pittsburgh side, it totally depends on who is the quarterback. Like everything is riding on whether Ben is playing or not. Despite what T. Campbell said, if Mason Rudolph is playing, I'm not playing anybody. I'm sorry. I don't trust, even against Cincinnati's garbage defense, I don't trust any catchers with Mason Rudolph.
They can't get pressure. They won't get pressure.
Garbage.
They won't get pressure on him.
You remember last year?
Yes.
So bad.
Well, against Cincinnati, he was okay, and with a clean pocket, he's an NFL quarterback. Man, give 240, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so I will say this. I actually, if Mason Rudolph plays, I would still start Deontay Johnson, actually, because he did manage to get the ball to Deontay Johnson last year So I feel like he still has some rapport with him. But I don't know if I want to trust anybody else in the passing game if
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph is playing.
The good thing is for that's in his favor is it's not like Big Ben went down right at the end of the practice week. He's not been able to even come to practice. So Rudolph is getting practice with the ones. So that's something, is versus having to come in cold in a game where Ben got hurt. But even if Ben plays, man, those knees got rocked a little bit last
He
week.
did.
So, I don't know.
I would
So,
still rather an injured Ben Roethlisberger than a healthy Mason Rudolph.
no doubt.
That's just me.
I completely agree with you guys.
Hopefully, I don't know what the deal was with James Conner last week. Like he was missing for a large portion of the game. So I don't know what's going on, but if everything looks right, he's getting in all his practices this week.
Right.
I definitely think it's a James Conner week for sure.
Absolutely.
No matter who the quarterback is.
Yep.
I agree with you guys completely.
Next up, we got the Ravens against the Patriots. So last week I told you guys look for Cam Newton in this game for some touchdown activity. It was late. He almost had me looking crazy, but he got there. In this week, the Patriots defense is 12th in the league. Offense is 28th in the league. So it's a tale of two very different teams on one side of the ball. The defense has a very much a bend but don't break type of performance. 2 of the last 4 games, they have held quarterbacks throwing to under 200 yards and only 3 passing touchdowns in the last 4 games. But they're also allowing over 100 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So Baltimore is definitely very run-heavy offense. Baltimore's defense, a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about it, but they have their first-place defense. And I guess because the woes of Lamar Jackson are overshadowing what they're doing on the other side of the ball, teams are averaging just under 18 points a game against the Ravens. But again, on the other side of the ball, that offense is being held together by the running game, whether that's Lamar Jackson running, whether that's the rotation of running backs, because Mark Ingram has been banged up, and even when he has been playing, he's been rather inefficient. But man, Lamar Jackson, this week's, I know you damn lying. Okay, Lamar Jackson has only thrown over 200 yards in 2 games this season, versus this time last year, he had only 3 games that he threw under 200 yards. So it's literally the opposite. I said it earlier, maybe I preempted my joke. He's the Bizarro, the Superman this year. He literally is the opposite. He had nearly, going into week 10, almost 2,000 passing yards last year. He's about 700 yards short of that this year. I don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson and his, Harbaugh looks like he's getting frustrated. What you got?
I know.
What is it?
He's not that good of a passer. That's what it is. I mean, like I said, we have seen this. You and I have seen this before when his name was Michael Vick.
That's right.
And when Mark Andrews' name was Algie Crumpler.
That's right.
It's like he can only get the ball to his tight ends. That is it. He has not been able to consistently get the ball to his wide receivers. Everybody's onto it. They're playing, they're playing a certain style in which they're trying to limit the looks that Mark Andrews is getting. And, he just can't get it to the wide receivers. And that's all it is at the end of the day. When we saw a lot of his touchdowns last year, he looked like he was playing catch. He looked like somebody playing catch. I mean, there was a guy who was wide open,
right,
and then he would just leisurely throw the ball because everybody thought he was going to run the ball. Right. So now everybody's kind of looking out for the pass now, and
he's not finding much success, man.
No.
So if you have Lamar Jackson, you're in trouble. because I'm sure you bank, the whole season on him. But again, Mark Ingram, it needs to be monitored this week. He is nursing an ankle. In this game, I like Gus Edwards at the goal line. He's had a touchdown over the last 3 games for Baltimore, and Jacoby Myers is returned for the Patriots. He's really the only person there that I like. Real quick, let me throw in Monday Night Football and give you a chance to talk about this one, EJ. We got Minnesota versus Chicago. The Minnesota has a 25th ranked defense. Chicago has a 7th ranked defense, but a 29th scoring offense. So let me tell you something. Chicago hasn't allowed a 300-yard day from a quarterback all year. Last week, they held Derrick Henry to under 100 yards. But this week, they got Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is the great equalizer to all them numbers, all that, whatever. This man has nearly 2 touchdowns in every game this year. And in PPR fantasy football leagues, he's averaging 27 points per game. Dalvin Cook, heavy on the Dalvin Cook in this game. I don't know if Jefferson's going to have a game this week. He just doesn't look consistent enough for me to feel really comfortable to have him. Obviously, if you got him, you got to play him. But yeah, man, this is a heavy Dalvin Cook week. This is going to be everything. Jefferson won't get off if Cook doesn't. Cook probably will. So Jefferson and Thielen should be okay. But on the other side, Chicago's played in a lot of close, tough games this year, so that favors them. This is going to be a tough game for both teams offensively. But that's who. Obviously, Allen Robinson. If you got him, he's a stud that you're going to play. But they need to go ahead and see what they can do with Mitch Trubisky.
Nah, yeah. Let's. I hear what you're saying, but
they need to shake up on offense, man. They're 29th in scoring. They need something. They need a jolt.
I hear you.
There's only 32 teams. You're 29th.
Yeah, I'm worried about them, especially with Montgomery going down with that concussion.
I hear what you're saying, but they are in the playoff picture, so which they were still with Trubisky playing, but
yeah.
I want to know. I got a question for EJ. How do you think Dalvin Cook is going to do this week?
I'm going to say 85 yards, 1 touchdown.
Okay. A modest for Dalvin Cook.
Right, for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I think right now he's the best running back in football.
Yeah. He's the reason why my team is undefeated. So I just wanted to see, since me and EJ are facing off this week.
Right. He definitely tapping into some of that Adrian Peterson and return from injury juju that happens in Minnesota.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's coming back, man. Lights out.
So, yeah, man, I don't really have anything to add to this game because I don't like it. Other than Dalvin Cook, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think, like you said, I think you got to start Thielen and Jefferson in this game, but I wouldn't expect much from them.
Yeah, I don't see this is definitely not going to be a high scoring game. Cook will get his, just by sheer volume. And, like I said, EJ, I definitely see a touchdown, about 80 something yards. But this is going to be an ugly game. Kind of wish it wasn't Monday Night Football, to be honest. It should have been like a 4 o'clock game or something like that.
4 o'clock game.
4 o'clock game, because it's going to put a bookend on the week. And it's just, it's just not going to be an offensively fun game to watch.
By the way, what is the deal with the 4 o'clock games, man? Why are they so trash, man? Like, why?
It used to be the other way around, man. They would throw the 1 o'clock games away.
What happened to America's Game of the Week, man? Like, that's the problem. They book too many Cowboys games at 4 o'clock. That's what it is.
Man, what I miss? I miss the the 7 a.m. London game.
I
That's
know, right? Yeah, man. All day football, man. I'm with you on that one.
you know.
So, but anyway, man, that wraps things up for part 2 of our Week 10 starts and sits. Make sure to check out part 1 as well, and make sure to like and subscribe for more fantasy goodness. Make sure to follow us on social media. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram at Fantasy Football MBAs. Make
That's
sure
right.
to be on the lookout for our playoff special. I swear it's coming soon. And until then, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.